When a submission lands in my inbox, I just kind of pause because I'm very excited to see what potential there is, and I'm immediately drawn in by the hook at the very top.
The most important thing for me is an excellence in the idea and the confidence with which that idea is pulled off.
A clear sense of who the author's reader is.
Often a really, really strong hook is the first thing that grabs me, and those comps.
Hi, I'm Liza DeBlock. I'm a literary agent at Greenstone Literary, and I've worked in the industry for about 8 years now. I worked for Robert Caskey and Juliet Mushins, building up brands such as Richard Osman, Abigail Dean, Claire Douglas, and so many more that you would know.
Hi, my name is Emily Glenister. I am an agent here at DHH Literary Agency. I have been an agent now for 6 years. I've been in the industry for 10. I represent award-winning Sunday Times bestselling authors and also upcoming debut authors who are fast making their way to being established.
My name is Maddie Belton and I work for Madeleine Milburn Literary TV and Film Agency.
My name is Olivia Everett. I'm an associate agent here at Janklow Nesbit in London. I have been at Janklow for 2.5 years. And I represent authors such as Olivia Eggleston and Mona Barney.
My name's Ludo Cinelli. I'm the managing director and an agent here at DHH Literary Agency. I've worked here for 9 years. I represent authors like James Norbury, Han Smith, James Clark, and Eleanor Bruce and Lucy Gray. The Novelry recommend possible clients to us from their pool of authors. We have no financial arrangement with the Novelry, but we know that the pool of writers they work with have great stuff.
The thing that I see in submissions mainly that makes me think this isn't ready is in a cover letter, actually. So when I get somebody who doesn't know what their comp titles are, or the comp titles then don't match the blurb that comes and things just kind of aren't adding up, it makes me think, does this person know what they've actually written? Are they ready to go out, and have they figured out kind of the whole package of their book? Because we can write something beautiful, but then we have to figure out then how to bring it to market. So sometimes there are people who haven't fully fleshed out who this book is for, who the audience is for, and that really comes out in the cover letter. And then that can also come out in your writing as well.
Certainly in the cover letter, a Dear Sir Madam for me is an instant reject, because you literally have to go to my page to see how to submit to me, and it has my name right there in big letters. Dear Sir Madam happens a lot, and I'm afraid that's an instant goodbye.
You want to feel as if every sentence is achieving the goal of furthering the plot or creating an atmosphere or telling you more about a character. And very, very often when a novel is not ready, there are sentences in there that don't do any of those things.
The thing that I always wish writers would know before they hit send is the industry is kind of looking for people who are very creative and fun and free-flowing, but then also remember that this is a business. And unless we can sell your book, that's ultimately what you want and what we want too. So you have to remember that there are going to be times where we have to look at things kind of strategically and how we're going to be creative about that at the same time. But you still get to plot murder on a daily basis. So that's the fun aspect of it.
Stray comma, a spelling mistake, a typo has never got in the way of a good book deal. It's not about perfection. There is a lot of time and energy put into the line level, but actually that comes in way later. You know, there are copy editors and proofreaders who really love that stuff and are really good at it, thank God. It's more about vibes than you could ever possibly imagine.
When a submission lands in my inbox, I immediately want to see that elevator pitch and see how somebody can sum up that book in 1 or 2 sentences. I want to know what's happening with the character. I want to know their environment, their context of what's going on, and then I ultimately want to know the conflict and the reason that I'm going to commit to going on this journey with them. And if you can hook me with those 3 elements in the top paragraph or towards the top, then I really want to keep going and keep reading.
The kind of vibe of their writing I like to get from the comps that they use. Not necessarily a sense of sales, but more a sense of who they're inspired by, who they like to think their prose is akin to.
Those comps are books that I wish I had agented or books that I've loved myself. That's where I start. And that's also the first indicator you have, especially if you're looking at things quickly, of whether or not it is in that positioning that you are looking for and that you want at the time.
I really feel that when I take on fiction, it's because it makes me feel something new, it makes me feel something that I haven't felt before, or it tells me a story that I haven't seen told in a certain way. So that combination of those two things really makes my ears perk up when a submission comes in.
When I sign somebody, they have the skill needed, as it were. The manuscript might need a little bit more exploration with that particular character, or the ending might need a bit of tightening. Whereas others, it's more structural, but when I got the submission, I could see the potential immediately. Now, because of the amount of submissions I get and the little time I have, I don't have the luxury to take on a manuscript that needs a huge amount of work that often, which is why it's always a delight when I get something from the Novelry, because I know it's already gone through that vigorous process, and my work's cut in half, honestly.
When the Novelry send me a submission, I always kind of sit up and pay attention a little bit more, because all of the people that work at the Novelry are fantastic. They're all editors in their own rights. They've worked across the industry, and while I was sad to see them leave those wonderful publishing jobs, when they popped back up at the Novelry, I thought, great, I'm gonna get even better submissions now from these people. And so when I read it, I know that it's gone through a set of people who know what they're doing. They're helping bring these books to the right people, and they're also developing them, and they're training authors to write in a way where they can think about the market.
I will know that the prose is polished. I will know that the plot makes sense and has a real level of competence to it. And so that just takes the pressure off the writing in other ways.
Working with the Novelry, a lot of the idea refining and concept refining has often been done. So I'm expecting a little bit more of a thoughtful submission.
We know that they have the kind of backing of people who are familiar with the industry, and they also have the mark of quality about them because they pass through that initial submissions process. And so we know that we should dedicate our time to them.
When a writer knows what they're doing on the page, I'm really drawn in by somebody who gets me into the interiority of the character really quickly and get me into the main character or the setting or the atmosphere of this location of this book in the first few paragraphs, because that for me is the mark of a really good writer.
When something is really good, you immediately have a sense of where you are, what you're doing, and why you care about that moment in time.
The writer understands their character's motivations, their journey, their intentions, and it's just, even if they're not actually explicit about it on the page, you instantly understand it as a reader because they are drawing them so accurately. And that, I think, is a big difference between a very early first draft where writers are still perhaps feeling out the characters, feeling out their intentions, compared to post-Novelry course.